Hey everyone, it's me, and today I'm going to show you how to create a rating system for your app. And this will be based on a 5-star rating, where each item that you're rating will have an average rating based on the number of votes that are coming in. All right, so your setup is going to be whatever the items are that you're rating. In this case, I have places. Then you need to have a rating log, which will contain all of the ratings done by your users. This can be a Google Sheet, or it could just live as a glide table. Then you also need a rating UI. We're going to have two columns, one called star values and one called star display. We're going to fill this out momentarily. And then this is going to be user specific. So you need to have users set up. Email, name, and photo are the three columns that you need to have for user profiles. All right, let's get this set up. So here I have, I just opened up this new app here. This is my list of locations in card view. Next, we have to make sure our user profiles are set up. So to do that, we're going to come over here to our settings and choose privacy, public with email. And now we can select our email addresses. Okay, and then over here, we're going to go back to our layout view, click on the menu, click on your name, and then set their user profile source to the user sheet. It should auto-populate name, email, and photo for name, email, and image. And there we go. All right, so then here are my list of places. And in order to rate these things, we need to have a button on here somewhere. So I'm going to dive into one of these locations. Looks like my title is backwards. So let's go to my title, and really the title should be the place and the detail should be the description. All right, and so then afterwards we're going to create a button component, and this will actually be a form button. And we can say rate this place. All right, clicking on the button will let us edit the form, and we want to write our values to the rating log. In the rating log, I have 5 columns: timestamp, user, place, rating, and comment. The only two that the user needs to fill out are the rating and the comment. The other 3, timestamp, user, and place, will all be done behind the scenes. So I'm actually going to trash those first 3 components, and now use screen columns and user profile columns to automatically write those values to the log. So under the special values, I'll do the current date and time for the timestamp. I'll choose the user's email for the user, and then I'll choose the place under the screen column to get written to the place. Really best practice would be to write the place ID, having a row ID of some sorts in order to do that. That way, in case the place's name ever gets changed or tweaked, it won't break your ratings. But for the simplicity's sake, I'm just going to use the name of the location for this tutorial. All right, and then lastly here for comment, maybe we want to make our comment required. So I'll check that box for the required. And for rating, we don't want them to type in a rating. We want them to choose rating. So I'm actually going to delete the rating component and instead add in glides rating component like this. And you can choose how many stars you want. Typically it's 5 stars, right? And we're going to make sure it's writing to the rating column, which it is. I'm going to put the rating up on top. And then the only thing you can't do with the rating component is make it required. I wish that you could, but you can't. But if you make your comment required, at least the user has to put in something in order to do a rating. All right, and that's really all you need in order to add ratings to a location. So here I'm going to rate this place. Let's go ahead and make it 5 stars, and we'll say awesome place. Submit. All right, if I go to my data editor, I can see that in my rating log, I now have a timestamp, user, place, rating, and comment. Now my timestamp and user columns are not configured correctly, so my timestamp really should be a date column. And my user should really be an email column, like so. I'm guessing the true is for my user sheet. Oh, no, it recognized it. That's good. All right, so now we have a rating of 5, right? And then we have the location here. And then in order for the place to be associated to that rating, we have to do a relation. So in my places sheet, I'm going to go ahead and create a new column. It'll be a relation column, and I'll call relation to ratings. And we're going to link the place to the rating log place. Again, best practice should be like a row ID to rating log place ID. But again, simplicity's sake, just the name is fine. And hopefully our places get more than one rating, so we are going to match multiple. Done. And now you see that I have found a match. This place was rated once. These other places weren't rated at all yet. Now, if you want to get the average ratings, what we can do is have a roll-up of this column. So I'm going to create a new column here. We're going to call this average rating. And this will be a roll-up column where we're going to roll up the relation rating number, like so. But we don't want to get the count. We want to get the average. Awesome. So we see that it's been rated once for 5, so obviously 5 divided by 1 is 5. If I were to go in and rate this as a 3, well then our average rating should be a 4. Let's go ahead and test that. So I'll rate this place, give it a 3. I can say average experience. Submit. And back in my data editor, I indeed see now my average is a 4. All right. Now maybe we don't want to show numbers, right? Maybe we want to show stars for our average, right? We can do that. Let's actually get a funky number here, just so we can see that our rating is actually working correctly here. So I'll rate this place again. Let's give it a 2. Poor experience. All right, there we go. So we have a 3.33 repeating, all right? All right, so then under our, so this is again pulling from our rating log. So if I go to my rating log and go to my rating here, it's a number column, and give it an edit, I can give it a precision of 0.1, like this. You don't need a group separator, hit done. Okay, which means then back in our rating UI, in our places, okay, we now see that it has been truncated. That's a neat little trick. So that way, whatever it is you want to display here, just make sure that the format is the source column. All right, so I truncate it to 1 decimal place here, and the average also then gets truncated to 1 decimal place. All right, so then if I want to get stars instead of numbers, right, I have to build that star interface. So here in our rating UI, I'm actually going to go to the sheet to do this. It might be a little bit easier. We have star values and we have star displays. Well, in our star values, right, we're going to have numbering stars 1 through 5. So I'll just enter in those numbers now. And then in the star display, right, we're going to find some stars to throw in there. We could use emojis, but actually I like to use Unicode text, these Unicode stars, because we have a dark star here and we have a white star here. And so I'm going to first copy this black star. What I like about this is that this can actually be colored either using CSS or using some of Glide's built-in features, which I'll show you in a second. So in our star display, let's give this 1 star, 2 stars. That's really large. Let me make this smaller. There we go. All right, let's copy this now. So 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, and 5 stars. And then back in our Unicode, we'll actually copy this white star, come back over here, and we'll paste that in as the opposite. Okay, so 1 star equals 1 dark star, 2 is 2 dark stars, and so forth. All right, now that we have values and star displays, we can actually do a relation here. We're actually going to use this a couple of times. Let's give this a refresh. There we go. All right, so first thing in our rating log, we want to relate this number to the stars. So that way we can get a star rating per user rating here. So I'm going to create a relation here and call it relation to stars. And this will be a relation where the rating number will match the star value. Okay. And then we can look up star display. This will be a lookup of that relation to get the star display. That looks nice. So now our rating matches the number of stars we have. Now for our places, we also want to maybe get the number of stars per rating. Unfortunately, we can't do a direct relation yet because 3.3 does not exist as one of our star values. So what we need to do is round this number. Too bad we don't have a half star emoji. Otherwise, we could probably break this down even further to 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and so forth. But whole numbers is fine for now. So what we can do is round this number either down or up to the nearest integer based on the rating. So to do that, we need a math column. And we could say rounded rating. This would be a math where we're going to round our average. And we're never going to see this number, so it doesn't matter what our precision is, but I'll just do precision 1 for now. Right, and so if this was a 3.33, as you see here, it's going to round it down to 3. If this were above a 3.5 or 3.5 or higher, it would actually round it up to a 4. So now that we have a whole number here, we can relate this number to our star value. So let's do a relation to star value. So we're going to relate our rounded rating to our star value in our rating UI sheet. It will find a match, and then we can look up the star display, just like we did in our ratings log. There we go. So our 3.33 was now rounded down to a 3, so we see a star display of 3. However, if they were ever to creep back up again to above a 3.5, like you see here, then it rounds up to a 4 and will now show us a star value of 4. All right, so now maybe we want to display this nicely. So maybe we want to show our average rating along with the stars. So to do that, we need a template column, because templates allow us to combine two values into one. So I'll call this star, or let's call this rating display template. And maybe we want to show our stars. We can have some replacement text, so I'll just choose an asterisk, because that reminds me of a star. And then maybe in parentheses, we want the average number. So I'll just do us a number sign. And we're going to replace those two symbols with the actual values. So the asterisk will replace with our star display, and our number sign will replace with the average rating. Now for places that don't have any ratings yet, we don't want to show a parenthesis. We want to show maybe something that says no ratings yet. So to do that, we need an if-then-else column. So I'll create an if-then-else column. I'll call this if rating display. And we'll say if the average rating is empty, meaning nobody has rated it yet, then we could say no ratings. Otherwise, we want to show that rating display. Done. Perfect. So now each place has an average rating along with stars that represent that. All right, back in our app, let's go ahead and display this. There are a variety of ways in a variety of places we could display this, but I really like displaying it in a table. So here, I'm going to add a component. We'll call it a basic table component. And on the left-hand side, we'll show our if rating display. And on the right-hand side, we'll show the relation to ratings. What's nice about this is that you can see how many ratings there are that constitute that average. as well as clicking on it will bring you to the ratings. We can make this look a little prettier. I like displaying my ratings in card view. And so here, if I go to card view, we don't need an image. And for the header, we want to throw our stars up there. That way they're colored. For title, we don't necessarily need anything there. For details, we could display our comment. If we scroll down, our caption could be our timestamp. And then maybe we want to display over on this side who actually made the rating. So to do that, we need to do a relation from the user. So let's call this rel user, and we're going to relate our email address of our user to our user profile email. Done. Now let's grab their name and photo. So let's say username will be a lookup of our relationship to user, name, and our user photo. Again, a relation, lookup to photo. I don't have a photo in here yet, do I? So let's go ahead and add that. Let's make this a photo column. And I'll go ahead and put my image in here. All right, so back on our rating log, we now see our user photo and name is aligned with our user email address. So lastly, in our app, now we can display that information. The avatar can be the user photo, and the avatar text can be the username. Excellent. And then maybe lastly, you want to sort it. So then lastly, maybe you want to allow your users to sort the ratings. So we can allow them to add sort maybe by the timestamp as well as by the rating. So that way if they want to rate by rating in ascending order, they have the ability to do that. Now the very last thing is that you probably don't want to allow your users to rate the item more than once. So the very last thing you have to do is relate this location to the user rating. So the location has the name of the place, but we have no information on this row for our user. So we have to create that. We can do so using a template column. So this is the very last column we do. I'll call this user place, and I'm going to create a template column using two symbols, maybe U and P for user and place, where U stands for the email address of the user, and the P could be the place ID or just the place in this case. Done. Now I need to create an identical column in our rating log. This does have the place and email already. So again, I'll create a template, call it user place, template column, U-P. It's got to match exactly. So again, U will replace with our user, and P will be replaced with the place. Done. All right, so back in our places, we'll create one more relation here. So we'll call this relation to user rating, where we'll relate that user place to the rating log user place. Done. All right, so now you see that I haven't yet rated these places, but I have rated this place. And so we're going to use whether or not this is empty or not empty to hide the button. So this rate this place should only show if that relation is empty, meaning I haven't yet rated the place. So I'm going to come over here to the button options, go to visibility settings, and we're only going to show this when that relation to user rating is empty. There we go. So now I can go back a screen. Let's visit another place. I could rate this place now. And we should see that when I submit, the button goes away. There we go. Got our average rating, and there's our rating. So this is a way for you to create average ratings for places or things, people, and then display them in your app. If you want to, you can also display this on the tile itself over here. All right, so if I were to go to the inline list, I could come down to the caption maybe and do the if rating display down this way too. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at robert.petito@woodward.edu, and as always, thanks for watching.